About 10-11 months ago, we reviewed the Panigale V2, which is Ducati's middleweight supersport, a track bike for the street. So what about Ducati's street bike for the street? Everyone meet SuperSport 950, SuperSport 950, everyone. So this is meant to be a sports tourer. Kind of has you thinking, why is it called a supersport? Anywho, being a sports tourer, it should be a blend of comfort and performance. Is it though? Yes it is. I feel I can end the review right here, but I'm paid to do more, so here's more. So let me begin with how you sit on the SuperSport 950. The handlebars are raised and the foot pegs are rather down below so that your knees are not very cramped as they would be on a supersport motorcycle. Although if I compare this with something like a Ninja 1000 SX, which I also rode recently, this is definitely a lot sportier. You do lean forwards on the handlebars, which is better for control. So in the hyphenated word of sports tourer, I feel the SuperSport 950 definitely leans more towards the sports side of it, which I think is working in its benefit because you can be enthusiastic on this bike. Like I said earlier, it is a comfortable motorcycle. Now this is the S model, which means you get fully adjustable O-lins, 48mm USD forks up front, and over at the rear, a progressive linkage mounted shock. Now the setup is rather soft, so on streets with undulations, you could just keep gliding. Is really not a problem. But if you're going to take this motorcycle on a track, and you may be tempted if you buy something like this, well, it may not switch directions like a gazelle, but it will definitely show you a good time. The best bit about this bike though has to be this, the 937cc L-Twin, which gives you 110 horsepower on tap. Now, if you're very performance oriented, 110 may not sound like a very big number to you, but I would say don't fret over it because the power delivery, how it responds on the throttle, is an absolute charm. It feels sprightly in every gear throughout the rev range. Also, when you do lift off the throttle, the exhaust makes this really sweet noise of pops and bangs, which just puts a grin on your face every single time. It also gets a bi-directional quick shifter, which, to say the least, works absolutely brilliantly. Especially the upshifts are super smooth and the downshifts are quite an occasion. For better accessibility of that power, it is backed by 6-axis IMU, which means you get cornering ABS and cornering traction control as standard fitment. It gets 3 ride modes: sport, touring and urban. The sport mode definitely feels a lot more aggressive than the other two, to say the least, and well, a lot more fun as well. You can toggle through the ride modes very simply through the TFT and the switch gear, and you can also do it on the fly, and the mechanism and how you need to do is rather very simple. The TFT very easily visible in any kind of light. For brakes, it gets Brembo equipment all the way on massive discs, and it is perfectly bitey, no complaints there whatsoever. Now it gets a 120 section tire up front and a 180 at the rear. The ergonomics definitely support that you pull off knee downs on this bike, and Diablo Grosso 3s will make sure that you do. So I look at this and I see, first of all, a gorgeous looking bike. If someone's not an eagle-eyed motorcyclist, they might think it's the V2. It is accessible. The seat height is only 810 mm. So not very tall people like me at 5'5" are perfectly happy on it. It's not very heavy, with a dry weight of 184 kilograms. Plus, it is also accessible right here. It is sprightly, it's fun, but if you're not going to keep the revs boiling at 5,000 RPM and beyond, this Ducati is capable of being a very civilized creature on the road. In fact, I feel I don't have a lot of negatives to say about this bike, except a couple of niggles like the rear view mirrors. First of all, the positioning is that you have to lean left to right to see what's behind you. Plus, well, they get super duper vibey at speeds. You can take this motorcycle for long distance riding on highways. Also, there is a taller windscreen in comparison to what you'd have on a sports bike, which makes life easier, and it is also easily adjustable. So if you're going to frequent a racetrack, this is not what you're looking for. The V2 or even maybe the V4 is something more your speed. But then if you want a sports motorcycle that looks good, does good in a city and on highways, and sometimes can also see a racetrack, the SuperSport 950S makes sense. And I stress on the S because if you're going to make the decision of spending more money just for the Olins, that won't be a bad decision. Now, I have to say, with a heavy heart, for the very last time, do consider to subscribe. We have worked really hard on the Express Drives YouTube channel. I will, however, see you on the other side. Until then. Do we have any bloopers? I'm sure we do, right?